Story time, you guys. So, I guess some of you guys know that I'm a massage therapist, not just a reader, not just a Reiki master. I've been a massage therapist for 17 years. And it never ceases to amaze me, the things that happen. So, I'm just going to tell you a weird story. The story's going to seem weird because it is a weird story. So, let's take it from the top. Of course, this is anonymous. I'm going to use the name Dan. Okay, Dan. So, Dan is elderly. And when I say elderly, Dan says he was in the Vietnam War. That kind of elderly. Veteran. So I don't know if it's like 80s or something like that. I don't know, but he's elderly. So anyway, Dan comes from a massage. And Dan gets a young girl as his therapist. But the weird part about the situation with Dan and the young girl therapist is, I have to say, the young girl therapist looked like she could be a little easily persuaded, just because, sometimes massage therapists, they're eclectic. So I'm thinking maybe Dan thought he could push up on this young therapist and make some magic happen, even though we're in a clinic setting. So the young therapist comes out and she's upset. She's like, I don't want to work with Dan because Dan is kind of handsy. But she leaves. She doesn't tell the story. She doesn't put in the notes about what you mean. What you mean? Dan comes out. He's like, I don't want to get booked with her anymore either. So of course the front is like, what you mean? So me, because I'm a seasoned therapist, the next time Dan comes, who they put Dan with? They put Dan with me. So then I say, why would you put Dan with me? Shouldn't he be blocked? Well, he can't be blocked because said therapist, the young girl, didn't put any notes on the account. And Dan shows back up for another appointment. So now I'm like, now you want me to be an angry black woman? Now you want me to come in and regulate, right? Now I gotta come in and regulate. Cause young girl, whatever. So I'm kind of upset about this because I'm like, at this position of my life, do I really need this? But then on the other hand, I'm like, I think we have different vibes. I think we have different energy. So I don't know that Dan would come at me the same way that he would come at a young therapist. I think there's a vibe. I think there's a vibe that people who are predatory, I think they can feel. I'm seasoned. I'm like seasoned meat. I'm not like young veal. I'm not young tender veal. Anyway, sidebar. So Dan comes. I'm kind of mad because it's the last appointment of the night. But I'm not there by myself. It's like me and it's like 3 other employees. So everybody's waiting to see what Dan's going to do. So I get in the massage with Dan. And I start to massage him. And Dan's kind of shaky. Like he's face down. But he's like, I'm massaging his back. But he's like shaking his arms. Like, now he's face down. He's like shaking his arms. I'm a little confused because I wasn't pressing that hard on the back or whatever. So I'm just massaging. So then, but I'm standing back from Dan. I'm like over his head. I'm not on the sides. So because his hands are shaking, I'm thinking, is that what she means by he's getting handsy? Now, I stood a little bit on the side of him. He did not grab or do anything inappropriate. He still was kind of shaky. And okay, I'm gonna proceed with the massage. We're gonna let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. We on a time schedule. We gonna buff out the rest of these kinks. So I noticed when I went to Dan's feet, when I started working on Dan's calves, like the back of the leg calf, not even the upper thigh, calf down by the ankle, Dan starts mumbling, and he's like, and so I'm like, I'm sorry, did you say something, Dan? And he's like, oh yeah, yeah, that feels good. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, that is, to me, the back of somebody's calves. I mean, maybe we all have our places, but that's not one of the hot spot red flags. So you go on and mumble your little heart out, because this is nothing going on. So I'm massaging. So then I go up the leg because I'm working on his hamstring now. He's still a little shaky, but he's not just shaky with he's like not just shaky with his arms now, almost like his whole body's shaky. So I'm like, this is just how it, Dan, you okay? Yeah, I'm doing good. Okay, all right. So then it's time to turn Dan over. To complete the massage, I turn Dan over. I start back at his head. I'm working on his head. I'm working on his neck and his shoulders. So as I'm working on his neck, working on his shoulders, he's face up. So he's right here in the palm of my hands. He says, oh, you're making me come. And I said, huh? Oh, you're making me cool. Cool? At that moment, I realized the young girl, she don't like him because he used old words. He old. Because who's using the word cool in a sentence? Oh, you're making me cool. Okay, Dan. Glad you like it. Okay, then. All I can say is I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of people in their weird. It's not weird, because whatever he's doing is his own somatic release. You know, people have different things going on. But the funny thing was that by the time I finished massaging his scalp, Dan's ass was still. So of course I'm like, Dan, you all right? Because when somebody's that old, they looking like a dead body here. You all right? You still make sure you still breathing. You still breathing. You still breathing, Dan. You still with us? Dan was still with us. He was just enjoying his massage. Needless to say, who's on my books now? Dan's on my books. I swear, it just be the weirdest things. And I'm not calling Dan weird. Dan's normal for whatever's going on with him. We know he can be still, because he was still at the end. I think it was energetic. He was enjoying the energy flow, because he was still, after that, like, calmed himself down. Whatever the rocking and the shaking was, people do their own different things. He didn't do anything inappropriate. He just was a little wiggly. But I thought, she said he was kind of handsy. Is it because his hands shake? Girl, if you don't quit playing, massage therapy, what are you going to do? It's a calling. When it's a calling, it's a calling. When it's a calling, it's a calling.